So, welcome back, or welcome to the Death Diaries, documenting the falling away of me, myself, I, the identity, the ego, whatever your word is for that. And today it's been a really, really amazing, interesting day. I've got 3 kids under 6. You can see them up there in those pictures. They're such beautiful kids. And I woke up first time and went pretty much straight back to sleep about 6 months before my son was born. He was our first kid. And in that last 6 years, we had three kids, including twins. And so the whole thing has been incredibly intense. And a question has gone round and round in my mind. Is it actually possible to experience the kind of peace, the kind of freedom that a lot of spiritual teachers speak about in this very intense context of looking after these 3 appropriately self-centered beings? You know, they have so many needs and demands and wants and desires, and they are not afraid to express them. And so for most of that time, since seeing through the self in a very profound way back in 2019, that understanding, that sense that the self is really illusory, has provided a lot of comfort and a lot of patience and ability to kind of reset and reset and reset. But there has still been, throughout that time, a lot of frustration, a lot of, from me, frustration, feeling drained, exhausted, having a commentary in my mind, even when I'm not with them, about what it's like to have to devote yourself to these other beings and how messy they are, and how, our house is constantly filthy, and, all these things. And sometimes I would look at, videos by my teacher, Angelo, or Adi Shanti, and I'd be like, yeah, none of these people have children. None of them have got children. And that's a tip off that this peace, this freedom, this truth is that they're speaking about isn't really available here. And sometimes in my more cynical moments, I've thought, yeah, you fucking come and live my life and let's see how evolved you are then. And today I took my children out by myself, 2 4-year-olds and a 6-year-old. I took them swimming. I took them for ice cream, and we went to the supermarket and came home. And the whole experience, and this is very new, since the last week or so, I've been really digging out a whole bunch of the infrastructure behind desire and aversion, between the pushing and pulling and judging of experience as either wanted or unwanted, as I've been kind of unplugging that wanting or aversion machine that actually holds a great deal of identity. It's been quite amazing to experience in real time a shift in how I experience my kids. I got home after 3.5 hours of, I used to say, God, if some of these spiritual teachers would come and live in my house, they would see what it's like to be around these constantly dysregulated beings that have got no real prefrontal cortex to speak of and constantly have to borrow mine to stay regulated, or to get back to regulation. And it's something I've been doing very, very well and very, very patiently, but finding it draining and tiring and exhausting. But actually today, following some of these investigations, it was so effortless. It's becoming so effortless, because without such a sense of there being someone who needs it to be regulated, needs it to be peaceful, needs it to be calm, then there's freedom for it to be dysregulated. And it can still be a great idea to help them find regulation, but not as a necessity for my own sanity. And I got home and I just said to my husband, I just had the best time with them. I just had such an amazing time. And I'm noticing as these mechanisms of desire and aversion, or in Buddhism, fetters 4 and 5, are kind of really loosening. There's also these semi kind of psychedelic experiences happening without the mushrooms, where I just look, particularly at my children, but I also looked to my husband today and a cup of water the day before that. And there was just such a vibrancy, a vitality, an intimacy, just such a great wow factor. Just the simply looking at my children, I'm really, really seeing them without that whole momentum of mind that stems in significant degree from the pushing and pulling of desire and aversion. Just magical, just absolutely magical. So I'm starting to see that perhaps it is in fact possible to experience this peace that passes all understanding, even in the midst of 3 little ones. 3, they're a bit older than that now. But yeah, they're absolutely precious. I don't know if you can see them there, but anyway. So that's what's happening today in the Death Diaries, and it feels really good to be hollowing out, to be hollowing out more and more. I'm really starting to realize now just how stuck I really was, actually, without even realizing it, in a self that was basically had taken a huge hit from the awakening that's been burning through my life, but that it was sort of still unconsciously saying, okay, that's enough now. That's enough. That's enough fire. That's enough burning. And man, it feels good to be in the fire again. It really does. Yeah. So when I originally started making these videos, there was a great deal of desire and aversion that I was trying to address. There was a kind of desire to be received well, to have someone receive me, to have people watch this, to have people like it, and there was an aversion to silence, aversion to being ignored. And it's really cool to see that not just through the process of making these videos, but through the deeper spiritual practice, it's becoming more and more enjoyable to just sit here and share this experience with no one in particular, and to find such joy in the process. Like, even looking at the phone, which is the camera, feels different. It feels, again, like intimate, like I feel such love for the camera. And you, the one sitting the other side, so to speak. Life really is fucking amazing, isn't it?